Happy Sunday, everyone. I am in the park with my grass, with my sunset. It's almost midnight, but we have to do the video, and I'm glad I'm doing it. These bad boys. Yeah. So I actually did one take before this, but it went on for too long because there's a lot to cover. So let's do take two and keep it a bit shorter. 2 months ago, I was at a party in Nesodden, which is around half an hour from Oslo. But when you get there, it feels like you're just transplanted to the countryside, both physically and culturally. It looks different and people act different. I was at a party of a friend, and I was warned that there would be this guy who was had racist tendencies. Why he was continually invited, that's a different topic. I will cover in a different video, but he was going to be there, so I was somewhat prepared. There's a big house, loud music, people drinking, good weather, seems fine. And I got to talk to this guy from Hong Kong who had moved to Norway when he was 14 or so, and he seemed to have like integrated pretty well. He was fluent in Norwegian, was friends with all these people since they were teenagers, I guess. And yeah, he asked me about where I was from, and we had a good connection, I would say. He was, I think, 34, so a bit older than I am. And I felt like kind of this brotherly feeling between us. We started shooting these air guns, and shooting bottles off a stone. And at the beginning, I was just missing completely, and most people were. But this guy he was so good at shooting the bottles, and he taught me that you actually have to line the sights up. I was just lining one of the sights, and obviously that wouldn't work at all. So we lined the sights up, and we shot the bottles. And after a while, I was just hitting them, bottle after bottle, just knocking those guys down. And I hear from the other side of the party this guy saying, "Oh, look how good the Chinese are." It must be due to the small eyes. And he said it in Norwegian, but I was shocked, completely shocked. And I kind of look around, and no one is reacting. And he said that like he said it loud enough for us to hear. We're on the other side of the party, and for all around, like all 20 people at the party to hear as well. And Jesus, like, I was like, really? Is this happening? I look to the Hong Kong guy, and he just keeps shooting the bottles. And at that moment, I thought I was going crazy. The host of the party comes over to me and says, "Oh, don't take it too seriously. He's always like this." Like, what? He's always what? Like, poor everyone, honestly. Poor Hong Kong dude having to deal with this shit. Poor me for having as well, and just poor everyone for having to be in such a person's vicinity all the time. Thankfully, I had understood what is right and what is wrong, and in terms of many things, especially racial abuse. So I knew very, very clearly that this was wrong at the moment. and there's one thing to know it, and there's one thing, like, there are different levels of knowing, but I knew that I didn't want to let this continue, basically. And so when the host told me don't take it too seriously, what, like, the good boy in me would be like, oh yeah, you know, like, understand, like, it's natural to have empathy. That's a human thing. And so the good boy in me would be like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't make a fuss, I shouldn't I should respect what happened, especially when it's been requested of you. If but not all requests are reasonable, and this was not a reasonable request, because that request was actually him saying, do not rock the boat because I don't want to deal with the consequences as the host, i.e. the one responsible. So he put the burden of it on me, and abdicated his responsibility of the situation, which is totally not okay. And I thought for a second, and I said, you know what, actually I do take this really seriously. But I felt alone. I felt very alone. Thankfully my roommate was there, so that gave me some support. But she didn't say anything, and that's like, I understand why, but like, the host didn't either, and none of the 20 people did, and definitely not the Hong Kong guy. So that silence was just deafening, and it just reminded me how alone people can be in abuse. And that silence is affirmation. That silence feels like that it's right. If there's no rebellion, then what has happened is right. That's what it feels like, at least. So yeah, but there's so many things to uncover here, like why the Hong Kong guy didn't speak up, why people let such friends continue to exist in their friend group. So I would say, like, I'll do a video on learned helplessness for the Hong Kong guy, and I'll do a video on, like, the nature of these childhood friends things for the host. But yeah, at least I could talk about it with my roommate, because she understands. But in that very moment, that silence, it just drove the point home that I'm alone in many ways in this country. And that was a hard feeling to shake, and I don't think I've shaken it off yet. So yeah, gone a bit over time, but that's what I wanted to say. Have a good week forward, and yeah, thanks for listening. Peace.